Hey shoppers, we're talking today about texting and to text or not to text, and when too much texting is too much and when not enough texting is not enough. So I'm going to walk through with you 3 examples, and we're going to do some more next week. I don't want these videos to be so painfully long that you don't want to watch them, and when I start getting bored making them, I know that you're going to get even more bored watching them. So next week we're going to go through several really fast because they're all very similar. So just to give you some examples of how I text my customers. The most important thing is that you absolutely need to communicate with your customer. Absolutely. The most important text you can send is that opening introduction text. Why? Because that allows you to open communication with your customer. Your customer cannot reach out to you until you send that one text. In order for them to do so, they have to actually reach out to headquarters and ask them to text you so you can text your customer if they need to add something. Why do I want somebody to be able to add something? It slows me down, right? No, you want someone to add something because this is your customer, and if they need something extra, they need something extra, and also that's adding on to your order total. So make sure that you send that introductory text. There is such a thing as texting too much. There is such a thing as texting not enough. My typical perfect order: I'm heading in the store now, or I'm on my way to the store. Please let me know if you need something else. I am, of course, generalizing these texts. They're not exact. I have everything and I'm heading to checkout. I am on my way to deliver. I'll see you in about 10 minutes. And thank you so much for your order. In a perfect day, those are all of the texts that I have to send. Now, when I have substitutions, I typically wait until the end of the order when I'm finished shopping, and I send them all together with the customer. Now, if it looks like I'm going to have tons and tons and tons of substitutions, I'll go ahead and stop, like maybe right after dry goods or after a certain department or something like that, and give them a list of 3 or 4 things to be considering. I usually grab those items as I'm shopping what I think they're going to choose as a substitution. I'm not always right, but that's the process that works best for me. Some shoppers like to send those as they shop, and that's okay. The thing to remember here is my word is not gospel. I'm telling you what works for me and what I feel is best practice and least disruptive to your customer. It doesn't mean you have to do it my way. Every market, every zone, every customer is different, and that's an important thing to consider, is take your lead from your customer, and we'll talk about that more next week. I'll show you some examples of following your customer lead. Not too much of that in this video today. So I'll send all of those substitution texts together, preferably, and then my customers are used to that, so they can kind of put their phone down for 20, 30, 40 minutes or whatever, and then they can come back and check for those when I'm done shopping. If I don't hear back from them, I will actually call them. That number, your masked number, will actually ring your customer's phone, so you can call them if you do not hear from them. You want to really make sure that you get what they want. If they don't respond, you're going to give them 5 or 10 minutes and send them a text. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and check out, and then give them a list of items that you've selected for them. I'm going to get It's absolutely okay at that point, when your customer's not responding, to make those decisions for them. I tend to lead towards getting something rather than nothing. That's okay. If they're not happy with it, you can return it to the store if it's non-perishable. Shipt can credit them for it, etc., etc. But, don't get just some random, don't get bananas if they don't have their coffee. Make sure you can find a suitable substitution. If you can't, then that's where you want to leave it off. It basically becomes a use best judgment order. So under communicating would be not texting your customer at all, or just sending them on the way. Hey, I've completed your order. I'm on the way to deliver your groceries. And you've made all the decisions, haven't given them a chance to add on. That's way, way, way extreme under communicating, or not texting them at all. You don't want to do that. Over communicating would be sending a text every 2 or 3 minutes. That can be very frustrating and very disruptive to your member. If they're trying to work, if they're dealing with their children, if they're doing other things at all. If they want to be texted every 2 or 3 minutes, they'd be at the store themselves doing it themselves, okay? So try to space out those texts and make them as few as possible. Give as much information as you can. Now, sometimes the system does break up text, as you'll see in some of these photos, to where they're kind of split up, so be careful about that. If I'm sending a long substitution text, then I'll kind of number things, 1, 2, 3, or just put little dashes or something. All right, I'm getting too long-winded, so here we go. Here are your examples. Let me know if you have questions. All right, bye-bye. Or not bye-bye, stay tuned. All right, first example, you're gonna see a little extra conversation in this interaction with my customer. This is a customer that I have shopped for many, many times, but haven't seen her in probably a month or so. So I wanted to kind of reestablish, hey, how's it going, et cetera, et cetera. Also, this one is a great example of why you need to review your order before you start shopping and before you even send that first text message to your member. What you'll see is interaction where I clarified with the member how many fillets she wanted from the seafood department, and just to make sure that I didn't get too many or not enough. And then you'll see more interaction with the chicken where she was trusting me to get her the smallest package or a smaller-ish package and what exactly she wanted. And then I spent a little extra time making sure that she understood that it was going to be quite a bit more than she wanted. So she was thrilled, and we broke down the package and got closer to what she needed, and she didn't have to double her recipe or figure out what to do with that extra chicken. This customer, I know, is a new mom, and she just doesn't want to deal with the extra stuff. So, and I also don't want to spend more of her money than she has granted me permission to do so. So that's always a good thing to do and a good situation to kind of over communicate and make sure everyone understands. You also see a little banter and fun and joking with this customer. I really enjoy shopping for her, and she's always good for a laugh and makes me smile at the end of the day. So so that's it for that one. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will move on to the next example. Okay, here's another example. This is a customer that I have never shopped for before. However, I knew from just seeing the order in Metro and talking with other shoppers in my area that this particular customer orders daily, and that it's going to a restaurant. So I expected it to be a somewhat simple, but maybe not so simple order because it's going to a restaurant. You kind of never know what's going on there. So this, again, was my first time shopping for her, so I'm using a lot of standard and a little more formal messaging. They did not have everything that she wanted, even though this customer actually typically calls the store to request items. For example, there were 9 loaves of bread, the French bread on the order from the bakery, so those were ready to go for me. And then there were several, I can't remember how many, basil plants. Unfortunately, the store didn't have those, so I got what I could, but was not able to get all of them. I did, however, take the time to mention to her that the manager let me know that he knows that that's something that she needs, and he would make sure that it was available for her the following day. So, why did I bother to do that? I didn't want her to think I just passed through produce and said, oh, they don't have them. And I wanted her to understand that we as shoppers and the store manager as well appreciate their business and their needs as a customer. So did that lead to changing my tip? I don't think it did, based on information, again, from other shoppers, but possibly it avoided me getting a low rating. So, or lower rating. I don't know how I could have gotten a bad rating when I just couldn't get something, but you know, it happens. Sometimes people get a little frustrated and they might rate you down. So make sure to maybe include that extra information without going overboard with it. customers will appreciate you taking that extra effort with the store managers. And that's pretty much it on that one. So let's move on. In case you're wondering why the background just changed, take a look at this. Yeah, so that just happened, and so we're gonna do our third example, and in order to keep this video not 2 hours long, we'll come back next week and look at some more customers that I'm a little more familiar with and have shopped for many, many times, and I'll show you kind of how those text messages differ a little bit from the ones that I'm showing you today. So this last one is the one that everybody always asks, can we deliver early? Can we ask? What if we're running early, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a good one. I've already shared this one in the Nashville group, but here's what it looks like. I get an offer for one item order, and I'm very familiar with the address. I've only been there like maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times, but great customer and takes great care of us. So immediately I ask if this is an emergency need for Charmin, because it's a very odd one item order. You know, I don't know, maybe it was left off of another order, or maybe they had a Target order and it was not available or something. I don't know. Anyway, so it's like three packages of Charmin. So she of course replies back, no rush, and then I give her, well, all right, then I'll see you around 4. And I did deliver the order in the customer's window because it was not an urgent need. So the rule of thumb is that unless the customer requests early delivery, we are not to ask. Common sense, people, common sense. When you break that rule is when it looks like someone's sick, especially if you see children's Tylenol or children's Motrin or things, you know, that you might use when someone's actually throwing up in your home. In those cases, I do typically send a quick text to make sure that the customer doesn't need anything like right now. And then I'll go ahead and deliver as soon as possible, because that's what we do. All right, so y'all, next week we're gonna do some more, so go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss that one. And that's all I've got. Just keep on being awesome, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.